Hi there, this is Amy. I'm just popping by to say hello and share some of my latest discoveries, or I think just daily adventures at this point. So I'm actually out in my greenhouse today because it's close quarters for my daughters and I. We're in a relatively smaller house than usual. We actually went from a 3,200 square foot house to a 17 square foot house to a 1,500 square foot house, which for me is fan-freaking-tastic because I just keep getting rid of things and just really getting down to the things I really love in my life. And it's been like that over the last 5 years, including like friendships and clients and relationships and emotions, and like really literally this spiral keeps getting more and more refined and pure and everything else. If you can imagine that perhaps this spiral goes from an outward big circle to an inner smaller circle and then back out again. But once you reach that center point, it's like you lose everything that is not essential for you. And then when you walk back out again into that spiral, you're like carrying so much less than you were before. And you can just, I guess, walk from a place of observation and enjoyment from that new space. So anyway, I've had some emotional triggers with my kids lately, which is perfect, honestly, because if there's any more of a mastery level experience, it is with my children, is for me, because I love them so very much. And sometimes I think as a parent we try to shift from the experience we had as a child. We shift that, sometimes the pendulum swings a little too far the opposite way. So you try to be the parent that you feel like you didn't get, although the parent we have is usually the exact one we need. It's just, finding the love and the compassion for each other as humans and as souls. But sometimes I feel like we have to drop that role of parent, or that we know better. And sometimes in understanding that, yeah, we have made our way through Earth a lot longer than some of our kids. Sometimes they know more, or they are more aware of what they bring to the table onto the planet than we do. So for me, it's been this struggle of holding space for them as they unfold, but holding it in a way that gives them, support also. So that's just been tricky for me. But let's just say I let the pendulum swing probably a little too far in the nurturing sense. And so I began to feel resentful, which is what I felt a lot of yesterday. I mean, I was actually quite angry. But, I have to own my piece of it. And a lot of times I've caught myself in a pattern of qualifying the emotions that pop up for me. So for instance, like, I can't be upset with you because I participated at some level. So I'll kind of like neutralize the whole experience instead of participating, I guess, at both experiences, if that sounds confusing to me even. But like speaking to the other person about why I'm upset, but also speaking to myself about my part in the situation, because everything is just, it's not a problem, it's an equation. So anybody that's participating in a situation is part of the equation. So recently, especially because we don't have a lot of stuff to do, and I look around and I'm like, there's so many things I think that the kids could have been helping me with this whole time. And I was working a full-time job and doing all my spiritual things that I'm doing, and a lot of times I let my kids off the hook because I understand they're going through some emotional upheavals. And they still kind of are, it's just they're a little bit less right now because they just really, life is very simple right now. So anything that comes up is kind of probably a personal trigger. So I'm using this as mastery. But I went out into nature yesterday and used my tricks, my energy, nature tricks to kind of like remove some of the energy that I was feeling, because I knew that being angry at them wasn't going to serve any purpose. I knew that lashing out was not going to be the answer. So I have to get rid of that energy somehow. So I went out to a local park, and from the elemental standpoint, from my understanding, is that we have these elemental beings, especially for me, that help me move energy out of my field, and work with my body and emotions, my mind. So anyway, so what that looks like for me is going out into nature and putting my feet in the dirt and asking the gnomes of the earth to work with the carbon of my body, to align and heal and shift anything that is in its power to strengthen, heal, remove, release, let go of. Sometimes it's that known and unknown aspects of what we're experiencing, so I like to ask for the unknown things also that I'm not aware of that they can help with. The undines are the helpers in our emotions. So I ask them to assist me with moving this emotion out of my body in a healthy, safe way. And then the mental are the sylphs, and they work with my mind and these thoughts that continue to spiral sometimes when I just really need to express something or I need to feel it. So it's like when I get into that mental trap, I kind of call the thoughts down more into my body and more of like, what am I feeling? Because I can't do anything with these thoughts. And so using that mental, using the air of the spiral that is incessant in my brain sometimes, to pull down into my body and express these emotions, heal the body. The salamanders are the ones that work with the fire energy, and to use the fire energy to burn out anything that I don't need, to transform this feeling of resentment that I have into something powerful and useful that I can wield to create a better reality for me. So once I did this, I get back home and I realize that, I don't want to say I'm guilty of, but what I've done in the past is I do all this work myself, and I use every situation in my life to transcend to the next level, to, use it for fuel, as they say. But I don't allow other people to participate in it by speaking up and speaking my truth, because I don't like to speak negativity or fear or things that don't help the situation. I like to really process what I'm feeling and then come back with the purest nugget of the expression that I'm upset with. So that thing that I think Eckhart Tolle says, it's okay to complain to bring about change, and that has been so powerful for me. So in this instance, what does change look like, and what do I want? How do I ask for it without yelling and slamming doors and stomping around and misusing this moment of trigger? So anyway, so once I've allowed nature to assist me, I also, by the way, call in the energy of the rainbow to work with my chakras, my meridians, like my entire energy system. So I think they all work hand in hand, so that I find myself in divine alignment, as I like to call it. And it is my highest vibration and frequency. It's my highest alignment in all my energy fields, so that I can respond from that place. So then I can go home to my children and express, what I need. It's not complaining. It's like, what do I need? And so in that way, I'm no longer feeling resentful, and the words I speak to them come from a place of resentment instead of like empowerment. So once I've cleared the emotion, I've cleared the mental, I've cleared the body, to allow flow, I can go back and redirect that entire experience into getting more of what I want, more into creating the reality I want. And that means maybe setting up a schedule, or like speaking up to the children about like, hey, I was really uncomfortable today. I felt really resentful. I don't want to feel resentful in our relationship, because I love you, and I want us to all be successful in our relationships, in this one for sure, and then the other ones. I mean, these kids are young women at this point, and they're going to be going out into the world, and they need to know how to have healthy conversations and relationships. They need to know how to get what they want out of life. So, you know, that could look a little bit like, okay, once a week somebody is doing dinner, and once a week somebody's, you know, doing dishes, and, you know, somebody's going to sweep, and somebody's going to take the dog for a walk, and, you know, like really laying those kind of rules down. And I'm an air sign, so I don't do rules very well. I like, you know, this has been a really challenge for me to get grounded on earth and realize like it's the best way to have a healthy experience. But you have to speak up, and it's best to ask for what you want. I also have heard behind every complaint is a request. And I like to get to that place where I can request something that I can effectively get, you know, not yell. I'm not going to get anything from yelling. I'm only going to get more of what I had, I think, because I haven't shifted my own energy. And the whole vibration and frequency of things is that I have now, by releasing that resentment, I now don't, every step I take forward from here on is void of resentment. So I don't have to keep attracting that kind of same response from my daughters, from anybody perhaps, but I will tackle each one of these triggers as they arise. Anyway, it was a fun day, and I found it very helpful and very useful to work with, you know, whatever's popping up. Also, I'm a big fan of song messages, and it's interesting because these rough couple of days has been weird because, you know, I had promised myself that I would make videos 2 a week if I could get them in, and Lord knows I have time right now. But I was having these rough days, and I thought, oh, I need to wait for this to get better. And one of the song messages I kept getting was favorite liar, and like it was incessant. Is that the word I'm looking for? Anyway, I think you know what I mean. And I couldn't get out of my head. I'm like, what the hell is this song about? And then, you know, as I'm meditating, doing dishes, the message kind of came full circle to the clarity of like, I'm the liar in this situation because I was supposed to be making videos. And I wasn't. I was lying to myself and not, you know, showing up for what I promised myself I would do. And I'm, you know, my excuse or my reason was that, you know, I was having these rough days. And the answer I got to that was like, it doesn't matter. Those are exactly the days when you post this. So often I see people only posting the good stuff. They don't post the struggles, or they don't post the real life day-to-day stuff. And that's where my magic is. My magic, because this whole living life on earth, out of the spiritual realms and out of the water of the mermaids and everything else is new to me. And so it has been my mastery to be in relationship with the physical things that show up in my day-to-day life. So anyway, this song message was perfectly timed because I needed to make my video, and I love talking about song messages also, so look forward to that in the next video perhaps. But it's a very powerful way to connect with the spirit world. So anyway, thanks for listening. If you're struggling with your relationships, it's very normal, and it's a time of mastery when you get those opportunities. So thanks again for watching. Have a good day, and please reach out if I can help in any way.